Hi, Droneslinger.com here. This is part of the Hoopson series, even though this little guy here is not a Hoopson. This is a Hoopson knockoff. This is made by a company called Long in China. Hoopson is located in Shenzhen. Long is located in Shanghai, which is near Shantou, the port of Shantou. The box this comes in looks almost exactly like a Hoopson box, but the brand name on the box is Top Selling X6. So my first impression was this is a brand new Hoopson X6 to follow up to Hoopson X4. Not the case. This is an interesting little bird though, because this is a little bit cheaper than the Hoopson. It's marginally lighter than the Hoopson. Takes the same motors and blades, but and batteries. The main board's a little bit different. Flying characteristics are quite different. This thing in standard mode performs very similar to, well, it's in between the Hoopson standard mode and Hoopson expert mode. And expert mode on this thing is totally insane. I've done full forward flips in my living room, 1 foot off the ground, and landed them without a problem. This is a very, very agile little craft. Quite a few differences too from the Hoopson. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, there are cages on the motor up top. So the motor is surrounded up top, which probably protects it a bit more than the Hoopson does. Also, the feet are different. These are little round dots as opposed to those big feet that cover the entire bottom of the motor cage. There are quite a few differences. The legs do not snap in like the Hoopson. I guess Hoopson has that snap-in leg to avoid breaking one of the arms on a heavy crash. This is one continuous arm, but it's a bit more flexible, twist flexible. It twists fairly easily. You put quite a bit of torque on it without damaging it. Because they're not snap-ins, you've got screws on all 4 corners to hold the body together. And that's also a little bit different. Really, it's not a bad bird after all, at all. If you look at the props too, I don't know who manufactures the props, but they're a little bit different. There's a hole on top of the prop. Not that it matters. The rear props on this one are already Hoopson props, as I've already destroyed a couple of the black props that came with this bird. I paid $39 for this thing with a transmitter, which is kind of odd. Speaking of the transmitter looks exactly like a Hoopson transmitter. I can't see any physical differences really, with the exception that this transmitter will not work on a Hoopson, and a Hoopson transmitter will not work on this Top Selling X6. When you plug, let me get a battery here. When you plug a battery into this Top Selling X6, what happens is a bit different than what happens on the Hoopson. You've got that strobe effect going there. Those lights are flashing a mile a minute. When you turn on the transmitter to bind, you get 2 beeps, and you still don't have control of the copter. You have to move this left stick forward and back. Now you've got it. There's none of this left stick, bottom right, waggle the right stick. That doesn't do anything on this transmitter. I think when you do that forward and back, that's what's setting the accelerometers. It sets up pretty well. I mean, it does fly pretty well. When I crash this thing, what I usually do is I'll shut the transmitter off, which you can do. Turn it on. It'll rebind forward and back with the left stick, and you're back in business again. So to me, it's a little bit easier to set this bird up to fly than it is with a Hoopson. And again, the flight characteristics, this thing is very, very quick. It's agile, it's fast. I was pretty impressed by it. Now, I found out after I purchased this that it wasn't a real Hoopson, and I laughed because, you know, they got me. They're trying to rip off the Hoopson. The box is so similar to Hoopson's box. The paint job is exactly like a Hoopson X4 H107C, not the L. but it looks like a Hoopson. I mean, you really can't tell it apart. It looks like a new next generation Hoopson. This thing is totally different. Now, all that being said, I do highly recommend these things. I have a lot of fun flying this. It's totally different. The only problem is I've got 3 Hoopson transmitters. I've only got 1 transmitter for this thing. It's too bad they're not compatible. But all in all, this is a great little flyer, and for 39 bucks, it's pretty hard to go wrong there. Alright, so just enlightening you on this little guy. Hope you enjoyed the video. Safe flying to all you guys, and we'll catch you later.